Hey everybody. Here I am again. Welcome to the Rose Show, which will probably have a different name at some point. I'm exploring some options. Um, so my name is Rhonda Lee Jones, for those of you who don't know me, and this channel is for basically I'm trying to give some encouragement for people who want to live in their purpose. Yeah, the arts. I want the artists to make their art. I want the would-be actors to get up on stage, go in front of the camera. If you want to start a business, please start the business. I am, visionaries. Make manifest your vision. But I know that all those things sound a lot easier than they actually are. So here I am to share my journey with you and to share some things I've learned over the past couple of years. Um, just a disclaimer, this anything that happens on this channel is for entertainment and educational purposes only. It's not intended to replace the services of a qualified professional, which I am not. I'm just your bud, just coming along and sharing what I know. We're just having, a chat over coffee, although there's no coffee here right now. But yeah, I'm a late blooming actor and aspiring lots of things. And I really, one of the things I always say is I want the young ones to get out there and do it before you waste a lot of time and find that you have a lot of regret in 20 or 30 years or 10 years or however many years. And I want the older ones to realize it ain't over till it's over, babe. You still got time. Let's go do it. Let's go do it. And the ones in between, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Come on, you can have it all. You can do something. You can do something. Um, so anyway, today's today's talk is about finding self-love. Creating self-love is actually probably more like it. Look at my screen back there. It's this big on a giant screen. So yeah, we're gonna get all that stuff figured out. We're gonna have better lights. We're gonna have so much fun stuff in the future. But bit by bit, week by week, time by time, I'm going to be improving things, hopefully. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited. So let's talk about self-love, babies. Let's do it. Let's do it. First I'm going to preach about it for a minute, though. Um, it can be a little bit of a controversial topic because a lot of people have, different views about, whether you can truly love somebody else. It, if you don't have self-love, what self-love is. I know some people have been upset by the concept, thinking it's very egotistical or something. And all those views are valid. I'm not here to try and convince you of anything. I'm just sharing my experience and my views on it, and maybe that will not necessarily convince you of something, but maybe give you some additional information as you decide for yourself what you think about things and what your next move is going to be. But here's what I think: as far as loving yourself and loving other people, um, I actually think you can love someone else more than yourself. It is possible. But what happens is love for me is, it has three components. It's a feeling. It's also, the thoughts that you think, and it's also the actions that you perform, and all these things feed on each other. Your thought might, create a feeling which makes you do an action, and all these things show up as love for a person, or yourself, or whatever. um, what happens if you don't have a lot of self-love, or you don't have any self-love, is love is a habit. honestly, if you really want to look at how love shows up in your life, it's going to be a habit. So if you are not, if you're not loving, if you're not being loving toward yourself or towards someone else, if you're not being loving, honey, you're being unloving. And if you have a habit of being unloving toward yourself, that's going to be your go-to stance for when you get triggered by yourself, and it's going to be your go-to stance for when you get triggered by that other person. So if you're not in the habit of showing yourself love, you will probably not be in the habit of someone showing that other person love. So it's possible, but not probable, because love is a reflex, you know, and it's something that it's a muscle that you need to exercise. And if you're not exercising it toward yourself, you're probably not going to be exercising it toward a lot of other people. Um, I I haven't researched it other than being on the planet for a long time and watching the people that I love interact with me and interact with themselves. And honestly, the ones that didn't seem to have a lot of love for themselves weren't too, they could show up as not very nice, you know, toward me and toward other people. So um it's just it's something that you have to kind of work on. So learning how to love yourself, and also if you show yourself love, you're going to be a lot more relaxed, a lot more happy, and you know you're a lot more loving toward other people when you're relaxed and happy. So give yourself that so you can give yourself, so give yourself that so you can give yourself that. And so, you know, it will spill over. You know, the empty cup metaphor is pretty valid. If your cup ain't full, how are you going to spill over for other people? You know, you can't do it. So here are some practical suggestions. You don't have to do all these things. It's not like you have to, you know, have a list and check off all these things every day. No, it's you know, when you have a moment, you know, do something, you know, for yourself. And it doesn't have to be huge. You know, it doesn't have to be, it can be 5 minutes. You know, you, if you can't spare yourself 5 minutes, you know, then I that's a whole nother episode. 5 minutes. Take 5 minutes of your scrolling time, you know, and you might be able to do it. Okay, so I'm not going to go in any particular order. I really wanted this first one to be last, but I couldn't wait to write it down. And I did this for myself. And I wanted to have a show and tell time with you, but maybe next time I will do this. Buy yourself flowers. I don't care what your gender is. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your job is. Buy yourself some freaking flowers. I learned this. I listen to the Mel Robbins podcast religiously these days, and she came on the other day and said, this is a number one life hack, and you will increase your happiness X amount of times if you do this one thing. And buying yourself flowers was that thing. And you know, I went out and did it that day, and I've got flowers over there. And yeah, every time I look at them, you know, I smile, and yeah, it does. It lifts your spirits. It lifts your spirits a lot. It's a very cheap, inexpensive thing that you can do. I think these flowers cost me $5 at the grocery store. You know, they're dyed daisies, and that's my favorite thing in the world as far as flowers go. And they're sitting over there, and they're so pretty. Um, so yeah, she was talking about how research shows that if you put cut flowers in your indoor environment, it will make you happy for days. It makes you more compassionate towards others, and just has a whole host of other benefits. And also sending flowers um, does all sorts of wonderful things. You know, it's a very intimate thing. You know, it's like bringing yourself there for that other person. That's what she was saying. That's what Mel Robbins was saying. And so yeah, go listen to her podcast. You know, especially the one about flowers. And please go get yourself some flowers, and get your loved ones some or your, you know, your business associates, you know, if somebody has done something that you're proud of them for doing, or you finished a project together, flowers are a great way of saying, that you're very proud of them and you love them and all the good things. Uh, okay, so that's number one. I've got 12 of these things. I'm going to be talking for a while. Speak to yourself with kindness. You know, when you're, notice your thoughts. And if you have a habit of saying, oh my God, I'm so stupid or whatever, don't do that. Speak to yourself like you would speak to a friend. Speak to yourself like you would speak to someone that you really like, it's a habit. I used to have terrible self-talk. I really did. I was really mean to myself. And over time, I trained myself not to do that. And these days when something hard is happening, I'm like, but you're going to get through it. We're going to get through this together. It's okay. You're safe. You're whatever it is I need to hear from myself. Um, you're a badass. That was probably the first thing that I started saying to myself. You're really a badass, so just don't worry about it. Speak to yourself with kindness. Make yourself do it. Write down affirmations. Do whatever you need to do to train your brain. It's all about training your brain, whether you're trying to love, whether you're trying to be kind to yourself and others. It's about forming those neural pathways in your brain and just, you know, making that muscle strong. It's something that it's going to feel weird at first if you haven't been doing it, but over time, you know, the other stuff fades away. The bad talk fades away. The abusive language fades away, and you will start just automatically. You'll just go to this self-talk that's actually healthy. So do that. Speak to yourself with kindness. That's a form of self-love. Um, Number 3, prioritize your physical and mental health. Again, even if it's only 5 minutes, if you can meditate for 5 minutes, then you will give your brain a needed break. That will help you just regain control of your emotions and just feel better. Breathe for 5 minutes, in, out. Just notice how wonderful it feels. And your physical health, go for a walk for 10 minutes. If that's all you can spare, go do that. I know you're scrolling for more than that. That's going to be my go-to thing. Take that time when you're scrolling and go for a walk or whatever. Just go do that. Prioritize that. Eat some good food. Eat some fruit. If you don't like fruit, eat it anyway. It's good for you. Reward yourself with something you do like later. Just do something that feels good to your body. To your body. Number 4, validate and allow your own feelings and experiences. Don't beat yourself up when you have a hard emotion. Those things are natural. They're natural. They're normal. If they weren't natural, we wouldn't be doing it in the first place. It wouldn't be there. It's there to tell you something. Your feelings are there as information. If you're feeling angry about something, if you're feeling, that doesn't mean go punch a wall. I'm not talking about your behavior. I'm talking about your feeling. You know, allow yourself to feel that. Allow yourself. You're supposed to be crying once a week or once every 2 weeks at least, for health purposes. You're supposed to let those emotions out. Those emotions are there for a reason. Don't shame yourself for feeling a thing, and don't shame others for feeling something either. Um, so allow that. It's there for a reason. If we didn't need it, it wouldn't be there. It's completely. Take yourself on a date. No, this number 5. Take yourself on a date. Just think of something you want to go do and go do it by yourself. Notice what comes up. Notice the emotions that you feel, the thoughts that you feel. Get to know yourself a little bit. When you want an ice cream, go get an ice cream by yourself. See what that reminds you of. Why do you like that so much? Get to know all those little thoughts and feelings. Even if it's a hard feeling that comes up, get to know that too. Give that some space. Just be happy in your own company. That's a gift. That's a gift. When you're able to enjoy your own company, then you're able to give when you spend time with someone else, you're giving them the gift of that company. It makes you feel good about yourself. It makes you feel, it boosts your confidence, yeah, that's fun. Um, but yeah, just take yourself on a date. Treat yourself like a person that you want to get to know, because some so many of us don't take the time to get to know ourselves, and so we don't know our needs, so we can't tell our loved ones what our needs are, and then we don't know why we're getting mad at them because they're not fulfilling our needs, but we haven't told them what our needs are because we don't even know. So it's this whole cycle that we get into. But if we take the time to actually become self-aware, then that I'm not going to say it makes it easier. It doesn't necessarily make things easier, but it makes it possible for you to go in a good direction. Sometimes knowing things ain't fun, but that's a whole nother thing. And yes, the reason I have put together this channel is to encourage artists to art, but what is an artist but a person with something to say? And you it's so important to do these things. So it's personal growth. It's personal growth for artists, basically. And yes, we're going to get to covering how to overcome the fear of making the art and that sort of thing. But this is part of that. This is all part of that. Number 6, give yourself little luxuries. Oh, that's another thing I was going to show you. For me, little I have a bowl of soap in the bathroom. I have all these little soaps that have all these wonderful little scents. And yes, they're more expensive than, say, Dial, a bar of Dial soap, but they're so worth it. It's like maybe $5 or $6 per bar of soap. And I've got patchouli and some sort of flower, and I've got amber and frankincense and just all sorts of things. I've got one that smells like the beach, and I've got, when they get to a certain point, I just put them in the bowl so I can just kind of look at them so they don't just fade away. And yeah, I use all of those, but I have like 8 bars of soap, and it makes me feel, I don't know, it makes me feel wealthy. I don't know, it makes me feel rich and wonderful. When I see those, I'm like, I have an abundance of soap. That just makes me happy. And I wash my hands with it. I Right now my hands smell like amber. It's so good. I take showers with them. I love it. It gives me such a boost every time I see them, every time I smell them. So give yourself those little luxuries. That bottle of wine, um, candles, incense. I this is all girly stuff. You guys have something that is a get that special beer that you like. Every now and then. It doesn't have to be every day, every week even, but every now and then treat yourself. You know, yeah. Give yourself that little at-home vacation. Number 7, improve your environment, whatever that means to you. Whatever that means. If that means, you know, picking up around the house, when you don't feel like it, you're going to appreciate it later. Hang a piece of art on the wall if you don't have that. Just what is that one little improvement that you can do? Maybe clear a pathway. Just uh, I once had an apartment that honestly had almost no furniture. It was so lovely. There was so much open space, and I just loved it. Go get something that's pretty and put it in your space. Plants are good too. Plants improve the air quality, and apparently plants improve your ability to focus. So go do something like that. Put something meaningful on your desk, whatever it means to you. Just kind of shake up the energy, shake up the atmosphere. So do your dishes. um, and not as a chore, just as a gift of love to yourself. Number 8, make your bed. Make your bed. I swear, I make my bed every morning, and the thing is, when I come home that night, it's restful to look at that, to just, and it takes 5 minutes for me to make my bed. It's not a big deal. You can spare 5 minutes to, that's another way to sort of improve your environment. Anyway, I think there's studies done that say, I'm just pulling this off the top of my head, but I'm not making it up. I think people who make their bed are actually happier. I don't know which came first, the chicken or the egg, but there's something about that creates, restfulness. And a nice made bed is so wonderful to climb into at the end of the day. 9, validate your own dreams by turning them into goals. And we're definitely going to dive into that one later. But, you've got this life here. Why waste it being unhappy? Figure out a way to turn your dreams into something, tangible. Um, I feel like I need to, if I start talking about this, I'm going to talk about it for the entire time. But yeah, give yourself the gift of living with dreams. Yeah, you may be disappointed. It may not work, but who cares? I mean, it's definitely not going to work if you don't do it. And figuring it out and making the journey is the important part anyway. Yay, it's great if it happens. It's not going to happen the way you wanted it to, probably. It will probably happen better, in a better sort of way. You'll meet so many wonderful people on the way. You'll have so many adventures, and you'll have these butterflies, and you'll have these scary moments, and it will be wonderful and terrible and awesome. But you'll have a life that means something. Number 10, high five yourself in the morning. That's a good way to, yeah, when you see somebody you like and they high five you or they hug you or you see their face light up, that, think about how that feels. And you can give that to yourself in the morning or at night or whenever. This really works. It will bring your happiness level up. I think I got that from Mel Robbins also. Yeah, high five yourself. I think it was like, try it for 5 days and see, what your happiness level is after that. I don't know. There are all these little hacks. I think the thing about being happy, the thing about enjoying your life is just freaking making the effort, is being open to experiencing joy. And these little actions, buying yourself flowers, high-fiving yourself, making your bed, it's just an action performed to show yourself that you are open to feeling joy. If you're open to it, then it will come to you often. It doesn't mean you will always be joyful. No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean you will never be sad. It doesn't mean that you will never be really, 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 really sad. But you know what? That's okay, because being really, 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 really sad is part of life. It's a necessary part of life. It's something that everybody experiences, and you have to let it happen. You also, I mean, you don't have to. Obviously, you don't have to do anything you don't want, but for a more fulfilling life, let that in and let it out. Don't hang on to it. Let that joy in also. I mean, that's my advice. Obviously, I can't make you do anything, but if we're this is the fulfilling life train right here. This is what we're doing. I cried the other day. I cried the other night. It was a big one. I hadn't done it for a while, so I needed it. And then I thought, the next day I was so relaxed. I thought, I need to schedule that. I'm gonna schedule a weekly cry, because that was actually kind of wonderful. Um, Listen to number 11. Listen to yourself the way you would listen to a loved one. So you have to know, what you're saying to yourself. You have to teach yourself to be aware of your thoughts. And one wonderful way of doing that is to journal. I journal a lot, and I don't journal as in, dear diary, this is what happened to me today. Sometimes I do write down things that happen, but my journal entries are a list. It's stuff I'm trying to figure out. It's questions I have. It's stuff I figured out, and I will journal that. And it's me trying to understand myself and trying to understand my world, my reality. what it means to be Rhonda Lee Jones on this planet right now, and how I can do that in the best way possible for me that day. And how does my brain work? And how do my emotions work? And who am I? And who am I on my worst days? And who am I on my best days? Just it's journaling is a process of discovery. And so if you want to learn how to listen to yourself, because you're always talking to yourself, whether you realize it or not, even if it's not out loud, even if you don't have the voice in your head, you have thoughts. And so many times we don't actually know what our thoughts are. They come rapid fire. But when you're having an emotion, that means you've had some thought about something. So it's nice to be able to train yourself to catch those, because you can get some really good information if you can hear your thoughts, and catch the weird ones as they fly by. Sometimes you will surprise yourself. Um, oh, one more. This is the fun one. Celebrate things about yourself. All kinds of things about yourself. I mean, the way you would celebrate your child, you know. Hopefully, if you have a child, or you're celebrating things about the child and about your spouse and about your dog, and about, do the same things for yourself. What are your talents and attributes that you are proud of, that you enjoy, um we so often want to think about the things about ourselves that we don't like. Why not train yourself to put at least as much energy into thinking about the things that you do like about yourself, your wins, your daily wins. You have wins every single day. If you didn't feel like getting out of bed this morning and you did it anyway, honey, that's a win. That is a big win some days. If you didn't burn the toast, that can be a win. Um, this video is a win for me today, because I really just want to go to bed. I didn't want to get ready and make this video. I mean, I did, because I love talking to you guys, but I kind of almost put it off until tomorrow morning. But I thought, wouldn't it be so lovely to do it just right now? Right now, and then I can go to bed and think about you guys, and get up tomorrow morning and think, well, that was lovely. I spent some time with them, and maybe I said something, that can spur. I'm not trying to answer all your questions for you here. I am. My hope is that when you hear my version of reality, it will inspire you to ask yourself the questions that you need to answer for yourself, or you know it'll make you think about things, excuse me, that maybe you didn't think about. Or maybe it will inspire you to find different answers than I came up with for these questions. It's just movement. That's all. Just move toward, something interesting for yourself. So, oh, I would like for you guys, even if you're going to be coming to this video later, I know, because not a lot of people know about this yet. It's our little secret. But I would, if you are inspired to give me some comments, give me three things you like about yourself in the comments. And if you're not inspired to write them in the comments and share them with the world, go buy yourself a nice little card, or open up your journal, or just take out a piece of printer paper and write yourself a nice little note. Three things that you like about yourself, you know, to yourself. Like, hey, if your name is Joe, hey Joe, I love you, man. And you know what I love about you? I love that you have the most floofy hair I've ever seen. I don't know. I love your laugh. I love the way it feels when we laugh. I love um I love the way you write those emails, and put that extra little bit of time into them to sound warm and inviting. Whatever it is, those things about yourself that you like, that you do well. What would your friends say about you? If you ask, hey, what do you like about me? And that might be a good thing to do. Like, hey, why are we friends? You know, you might find out some really cool things about yourself that you didn't actually know. So, anyway, those are my 12 little things that you can do to practice self love, because love is a practice, it's a habit, and doing it for yourself will honestly lead you to doing it for other people and the world and flowers. I don't know, dogs, cats. It's a nice way to feel. It's just love. Giving love is a nice way to feel, for yourself. So you can always love yourself, and you can always be loved by yourself. So it's just, and if it's hard to do right now, because it is hard for a lot of people, because they weren't, taught the skill of loving themselves. But you can teach yourself that now. You can do it little by little. Anyway, the fact that you showed up here and you know maybe listen to this whole long rambling thing, um that's an act of love. Just taking the time to learn how to do it is an act of self-love. So yeah, mwah. Love you. I do. I love you. Because I want you to do well. I want you to go make your art. I want you to do the thing. I want you to be happy. So, if I can love you, and I may never have even met you, you can love yourself. You can do this. You can do this. We got this. We got this. So, until next time, I am Rhonda Lee Jones, and this is currently the Rose Show. And I don't know if I'm going to change the name or not, or if we're just going to stick with this. I don't know. I'm playing with lighting, I'm playing with costume, I'm doing a lot of things. So, good night, everybody. And there is no and, just good night.